Uniona, we're coming up to the crucial bit of the season, I suppose. Saturday evening sees us kick off against the former champions of Germany, FC Bayern München. And amongst our players on Saturday evening will be a young man who came to us in the summer who has established himself as a vital part of the squad, who's played his way into the first team squad as well. He's played 17 times for the first team since he come. Uniona, it's Mikkel Kaufmann. Hi Mikkel.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Yeah?
And you?
I'm great, thank you. It's very nice to see you.
Yeah.
So I want to start at the very beginning, okay? We're going to start off, we'll get the horrible pronunciations out of the way first.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so you are from Hjørring.
Hjørring, yeah.
Right? Hjørring.
Yeah.
And that's in the north, that's in Jutland in Denmark?
Yeah, exactly.
What's it like? Is it a small town?
I think it's actually like in the north of Jutland is like actually one of the bigger cities.
Oh, okay.
Like I think it's the 25th biggest city or something like that in Denmark. But we don't have that big of cities. We have Copenhagen, but besides that, it's not that big. So if you're in Germany, I think you will call this a village.
What's it like?
I mean, it's nice. Like I have so many friends and my family is of course there, and yeah, everybody just knows each other. Like maybe not all 25,000 who lives there, but you know a decent amount. So when you walk out, you're pretty sure that you will meet somebody that you know.
And are they sort of hard-working people? Is it a sort of working town? What is it?
Nah, I think it's like, I don't think it's very much different to Berlin in terms of like what they're working at. Like you know, I think they have different jobs and stuff like that. It's not like it's a city who's like known for something
just
big.
got one steel plant.
No.
And so tell us about football. When did you start? When was the first time you even became aware of football? Was it as a kid playing? Was it watching it on TV? Or was it?
Yeah. I only remember like playing in my hometown club, Hjørring, where we played like the lowest team that you could play, or like the youngest team that you could play, and there you could play. I think every Sunday at 10 o'clock. You made in, and I remember my parents bringing me to this one, and I just loved it.
But you were interested. You wanted to do it. It's not like you were being pushed.
No, I know my older brother played as well. So I remember playing a lot in the garden with him. So I think that maybe took the steps for me to say okay, I want to, but I can't really remember if it was me or my parents who brought up the idea to start playing in a team.
Were you always a striker?
Yeah.
Or just a little kid? That's where you run to.
Yeah, I think as far as I remember, I've always been a striker.
Okay, so you find your way to Aalborg.
Yeah.
14?
Yeah.
And so that's already you're in the sort of the production line, as it were. You're sort of working your way through the youth there, and you work your way up to the under-19s. But you make your debut in the Danish Superliga at 17 years old. Before you make your debut for the under-19s. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
And I read an interview. You said you'd never been that nervous as the night before your Superliga interview.
No, like I remember we played against Vendsyssel, which their home stadium is in my hometown, is in Hjørring. So we played an away game, and that's where I got my debut. So
and there was like 6,000 people there.
Yeah, it was the most that I've ever played in front, and of course all my friends and family was in the stadium because it was quite big for the club in Hjørring to play in the Superliga, and then we should play against them, and I should get my debut there. It was special.
That's amazing, isn't it? And so, what did you get a phone call? Did you get told the day before you might play, or?
No, I've been a little bit in with the team in the preseason, and then I think we had a couple of strikers which was like maybe going somewhere, and then the week up to they transferred to another club, and suddenly there was a hole and a gap they need to fill out, and it was convenient for me because I of course was dreaming about making it, so it was just a nice feeling. And after that, I think they brought a new striker in for the first team, and I dropped a little bit back to the under-19.
And so you made your debut for the under-19s like 5 days later.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was against Aarhus,
yeah,
which is also a derby.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, it kind of is.
So you're just thrown straight in there.
Yeah. So it was, of course, a little bit special, like readapting to suddenly playing Super League and then drop back to under-19. But it was just nice. Was
it difficult to, having made your Superliga debut, to then be playing in the under-19 leagues again? Because, you know, as a young man, obviously you have to have an ego as a striker anyway. Yeah. Was it hard to make that adjustment?
Maybe a little bit, but I don't think I felt it that much because I was like really determined that nobody should be able to afterwards saying, yeah, okay, his brain or focus is not here at the under-19s. I really don't want that. I don't want it to be that guy, you know, that everybody was like, oh yeah, okay, now he doesn't care about us anymore. Yeah. So I really focused on still working hard because I also played with a lot of these guys since I was 14. So it was also special to play with them, and of course for me I gave everything, and I really wanted it to be said that I didn't give up.
So, but it's all gone so quickly. You know, within what a couple of years, you go to FC Copenhagen.
Yeah.
This great club in Danish football history. It's a big stadium. It's big crowds. You're suddenly playing in the Europa League. How was that transition for you? Was that? I mean, you were the second biggest transfer that Aalborg had ever had, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
Did that weigh on your mind, or? And it all happened so quickly.
Yeah, I don't know. Like maybe a little bit. Like I was also quite young, and that was like the pressure from Aalborg to Copenhagen is another level. Like you can't even compare it. I think. Like I remember. After the first game we lost, and I got in and played 15 minutes I think, and we lost. And when we lost in Aalborg, it was like, okay, we lost, but it's not crisis, like it's what happens in football. But in Copenhagen, if you lost, it was a disaster all the time. Like no matter the opponent, it was always a little bit of a disaster to lose, because you were supposed to be the biggest team in the country. So that adapt to like really like having to win all the time, that was a crazy pressure, and obviously we were also struggling a little bit when I came, and then the coronavirus broke out, so I was like a little bit alone also there. Yeah, and that was a tough start, but then I think it's really giving me something now when I look back.
And the corona, I mean, so you played in this UEFA Cup, Europa League. You can tell a man's age by if he calls it the UEFA Cup still. You played in this Europa League campaign with Corona in the middle of it.
Yeah.
So you play and you beat Celtic at Celtic Park.
Yeah.
You know, in front of 55,000 people.
Amazing.
What was that like, going out in front of that?
Yeah, that was crazy. Like that's one of the craziest experiences I ever had. Like you could feel it was almost like the stadium was shaking when there was a corner. And it was just crazy, and we won it, and our away fans was really great in the one corner, and like you hadn't been able to hear them the whole game, and then at the end it was starting when we were scoring the 3-1 goal. You started to hear them in the whole stadium, so it was amazing. It was really nice.
But so it was this weird truncated campaign, because you play Başakşehir here. And the first leg you play, and you lose 1-0 in Istanbul, I think. And the second leg is 5 months later, because of Corona.
Yeah, that was weird. I actually remember we were sitting in the hotel like 5 hours before the first game, We wasn't sure if it was gonna be played because like they always start shutting countries down. And we were like, okay, are we able to come home to Denmark, like, or are we gonna get stuck in Istanbul? And I think we pressured it to be that we should go home. But I'm not. I just remember that we had the meeting and it was like, okay, we're gonna play and now full focus on the game. And obviously, then afterwards it was all shut down and
everything stops.
Everything stopped, and you kind of also like. Forget a little bit that you are still in the Europa League because it was just like doing this small group training and stuff like that. So, yeah. And
you come through and then you play against Man United in Köln.
Yeah.
But in an empty stadium.
In an empty stadium, yeah.
I mean, it's so weird, isn't it? I mean, you reach, and this is, I mean, not the pinnacle of your career, obviously, because you're going to achieve more, but this sort of, this high point.
Yeah.
Was it disappointing? Not as disappointing as losing to a 96th minute penalty or whatever. But
I wouldn't say it was disappointing, but of course, you're thinking of this experience was amazing, but you also think, okay, what if we had to play them at home and to play them at Old Trafford? Like that would have been once in a lifetime opportunity. And now you get to play them in an empty stadium in Köln, which is
But you get to go back to Köln in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, that's true.
In a full stadium.
In a full stadium.
With 5,000 Uniona in it.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Yeah, I think that'll be a different experience.
Yeah, I think so too.
After that, so before we get to sort of your time coming to Germany, I just want to go back because I was reading. So the most famous or the largest international youth tournament in the world is in Thuring.
Yeah.
It's called the Dana Cup. Dana Cup?
I think in Danish you will say Dana Cup.
Okay.
But I think if you're international, I think you will say Dana.
We'll call it the Dana Cup.
Yeah, Dana Cup. For you, we call it Dana Cup.
25,000 kids every year playing this tournament.
Yeah.
For starters, that must have been taking place sort of throughout your whole life. It was just a thing that was always there, yeah?
Yeah, I think so. Like, I remember playing it ever since I was old enough to play it, and until you get to the age where you can't anymore.
And so you get to the age where you can't anymore, and you're playing for the under-19s at Aalborg. Yet I've read on forums there's a suspicion that you might have actually turned out for one of your mates' teams.
Yeah. I mean, I was still in the age where you could play it, so it wasn't illegal at that point. It was just that I think when you signed your professional contract, there's some limits to what you can.
Yes, but you were coaching.
I was coaching all my friends' team, and the preseason was going, and I think we just played the first game in the Superliga, and then the Dana Cup is there, and I had training, so I would rush home from the trainings to coach my friend's team. And
were you a good coach?
I was a decent coach, I would say.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is it something you'd think about?
No, I don't think so.
No, just for your mates?
Yeah, just for my mates.
Okay, well, we won't tell anyone else about that. We'll keep that between us.
Exactly, yeah.
Should be fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so you leave Copenhagen, right? You go to Hamburg.
Yeah.
Hamburg was tricky. You were in and out of the team. But, I mean, you had a hell of a start there. Your debut was away against Schalke.
Yeah.
Then you play at home against Dynamo Dresden.
Yeah.
And then you play away in the derby against St. Pauli. Welcome to German football.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, it was really special. Like, coming from the Danish league, which is also good, but the fans and the intensity in Germany, I think it's different. I don't think you see it in the smaller countries. And I also think I underrated a little bit how special it was, because these, as you say, these first 3 games was really amazing. Like we had the first game against Schalke. I don't think it was full because there was still some Corona restrictions, but there was a lot inside, and obviously to win it the first game was nice. And then the first game at the Fall Park Stadium was also like incredible. It's such an amazing stadium, and yeah, then we had the Stad derby against Pauli, which we unfortunately lost, I think. Yeah.
But I think it was close, wasn't it? Like 4-3 or 3-2?
Yeah, 3-2, I think.
And so you have this whole season at HSV. You actually played quite a lot, but you didn't really break through into the first team.
No.
And you go to Karlsruhe, and you find your feet. Was this something about you enjoyed the town more, where you were mentally? Was it just the way you fit into the system? Was it? So you scored 10 and you got 8 assists as well in that second division season.
Yeah, and I actually didn't even play that much the first half year there. I had some injuries and was struggling a little bit to get fully fit. And that was also really hard because for me I had the quality to play there. But obviously when you're not fully fit, it's hard to get into the team. And I spoke with the coach there, Christian Eichner, and he said like, well, now you have this World Cup break, and he wanted to see that I could get fully fit and really show that I had to play. And I took those words like to me and really worked hard on everything and really just did everything that I would not had these small injuries anymore. And obviously I didn't, so I also had some luck, and then I played the next half season. And then you end up here.
Yeah. So you were on loan at Karlsruhe. So the chances were always pretty high that you weren't going to be there longer than one season. You must have had other options though, I assume, whether it was staying there, whether it was other clubs coming in for you.
Yeah.
What was it about this that convinced you to come here? Was it?
Yeah, I think it was just like the whole package was just like a little bit like wow. Like the city, of course, also like you could live in one of the coolest cities in Europe. You could play in a really nice team in front of amazing fans. The football suited me quite well as well. So for me, it was just like all these things, just like okay, this is really hard to turn down. And also like I had some good speeches with Urs and Ollie. So at the end it was just like it was kind of a no-brainer to come here.
And you made your debut against Luckenwalde. So it's nothing like this.
No.
It's, it's 50 kilometres out that way. It's a beautiful little stadium. I was there. It was hot that day as well. Bone dry pitch.
Yeah.
Did you immediately feel part of the squad? I mean, did it help for starters having Jakob Busk, having Freddie Ronau here?
Yeah, for sure. Like now I've been used to in the other clubs I've been in Germany. I was on my own as a Scandinavian guy, and that's different because the culture is of course different. But anyways, I learned German quite well these places, and now I had some Danish guys here, and when I was here, Morten, the Norwegian, was also here. So there was some familiar language, which is always nice when you need to settle in a new place. So for me, it's been really nice to have.
And you're enjoying the city. You like Berlin as well, do you?
Yeah, it's amazing. I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah, inside with the restaurants and the cafes, and yeah. It's just nice.
You score in the friendly in Hungary. That must have helped with your introduction process anyway.
Yeah.
Do other players look at you differently after you've scored your first goal?
I don't really know. Like for me, I wouldn't say that they look different, but of course it's like it's good to show that you can also score some goals.
But do you think maybe you carry yourself slightly differently after your first goal? Or
yeah, but I think maybe a little bit. I don't think it really in a friendly, like maybe more in the league. Then your shoulders drops a little bit, and you feel okay, that you also show to everyone else, but also to yourself that you can be at this level.
Yeah.
So I think it's more in the league that you really get this feeling, or like this is good.
You wear a number 9. You are seen as a classic number 9. You're quite big, but you're fast. You said early on, I think pretty early on in your career, you knew that there was parts of your game you had to improve upon, you needed to work on.
Yeah.
What were you referring to there?
Like for me, it's a little bit the quick passes in the small areas. That's something I still have to work a little bit on, and then the game with my back turned to the goal, and with a strong central defender in my back, I also have to get better on that one, and I also say my heading needs to be improved, but yeah. So
it's almost those sort of the number 9-ness.
Yeah.
You still like to drop back. You like to get involved. You like to use your pace.
Yeah.
Nainad likes to use you with a little guy, like a classic big man, little man combination almost. Whether it's Benedict Hollerbach or whether it's Brennan Aronson or whether it's Jorba Vertessen. In a game, how's your mindset? Are you thinking, okay, I've got to remember this from training, I've got to remember to go make this run here, or is it instinctive by that point?
Yeah, there's always some things that you like that's specific to this game that you have to do, which comes a little bit out from how the opponent are playing, where the spaces are. So for sure there's something, and then there's also a little bit if you are playing with a smaller guy and you as yourself need to be a big guy, or you play with a bigger guy and me have to be the one running in those spaces. Yeah, so there's of course different games and different things you have to do.
Well, I mean, it's obviously started working, obviously, but you made your debut, your home debut was against Leipzig.
Yeah.
Here, and you come on, we're already losing, but you come on in front of this.
Yeah.
I'm pointing at the stands, by the way, excuse me for those who can't see this. Come in front of this, but you know, Leipzig is special.
Yeah.
Because there's this passion, there's this volume in the stadium. Anyway, did you expect it? Was it something?
Yeah, it was nice, obviously, to come inside. That was something that I have been looking forward to. Obviously, the game wasn't that good.
No.
I also think we had a red card, so it was mostly defending. But yeah, still after getting beat 3-0, still to go around the stadium and get an applause from the fans and also them hearing them singing after that. I think it's special. I don't think you will experience that in a lot of places. So that's still some good memories from my debut.
It must be tricky because because the club went on this tricky, horrible run after that.
Yeah.
And there was the Hoffenheim and the Heidenheim and the Wolfsburg games. And you played all of those. You're coming on as a sub. You're new to the club. You're very young. Expectations around the club were pretty high for this season.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that when you go home after a match?
Yeah, I think obviously you're frustrated. I think that's not just me. I think that was the whole team, club, fans. Everybody was frustrated and a little bit shocked because I don't think anybody saw this coming. So that's obviously that's tough. That's also tough because you gotta at some point to leave it, also to be able to relax and recover. And yeah, I think it was some really tough months to get through. All these, there was a lot of negativity inside the whole club. Obviously, when you don't win, that's what football is about.
And when you're playing well, when you should be winning.
Yeah, and sometimes it's unlucky, and you're like, okay, how can this happen? And from what you've seen, heard, and like also in the films was showing like that you maybe had this luck during your last seasons, and obviously now you didn't. That was, I think, it's for everybody, it was really tough.
Did you enjoy the film?
Yeah, it was quite nice.
Yeah, you were. I saw you at the premiere.
Yeah,
you liked it.
Yeah, it was. I think it was also good for all our, like, obviously all the players who were in the film was also nice, but I think also as a newer player, it's also good to see what this club is built on and what the last seasons has like achieved.
I mean, the culture within the club and the way that it pulls together, even during those worst of times, from the players to the playing staff to everybody, it's obviously so important to everything here. And then, and Nenad comes into this, and you score in his first game against Gladbach, in front of the Waldseite.
In front of Ultras, yeah.
That must have been a hell of a feeling after that game.
Yeah, it was just so nice. Like, I remember my whole family was here, and it was just like being able to like also celebrate it with them afterwards it was a special day.
Oh, amazing! I love the fact you're sort of looking over there.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
You gotta see it.
Really incredible. The noise that day, something else, wasn't it? And so now you've made your first start at the Outer Försterei. It took you until March to get it against Bremen, and you've pushed your way into the starting 11, and you're now looking at this run of fixtures coming up that are so important, and not just for you as players, they're important for everyone around here. How do you distract yourself from that, or is it important not to distract yourself from that, to focus on what you've got to do?
Yeah, I think you gotta have a balance. Like, obviously, I think when you are like inside it, and when you are like training, recovering, playing, like you gotta have fully focused, and you gotta have it in mind that this is not just like for yourself that you play. You gotta like leave everything on the pitch every time you go there, even though it's just training. Like, you really gotta think about that. It's a tough situation, but still, I'm sure that like with the players and the mentality we have in this team, this club, I'm sure we are capable of making it.
I have no doubt whatsoever from everything I've seen. I don't think that will even come into question, to be perfectly honest. No. You know, I think it's such a fascinating period, right? So the question I wanted to ask you is, it's about this kind of feeling and the pressure on players and stuff like that. If you come on at half time here against the about soon to become champions Bayer Leverkusen, we're down to 10 men, we're 1-0 down. Okay, you come on for the whole of the second half. Is that easier than coming on, for example, in the second half when you're 1-0 up against Wolfsburg in a game that you kind of should win from that position? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean, like from expectations wise from outside, like I would say, like both. And I understand like how you can feel like that, but it's also like, I think a 1-0 down, you're still like, okay, we're 10 men, we know this is gonna be like so tough, but but we still gotta like try to stick those counters in and gain something from our set pieces and stuff like that. So I would still say that you still have to like hunt something, and that's of course tough with one man less. So that's of course a tricky game, but I can understand the expectation matter that, okay, you can say, okay, now you need to come in and really defend this win. But that's also like in a game where you're 11 against 11 against the Wolfsburg team who has to like go forward. There's also space to attack in behind, so that's also a good situation as a striker to come inside these games where there's a little bit more open, you have a little bit more space, and then you can maybe get a good chance of closing the game 2-0. So I get the questions, but I don't think I will say so.
But it's got to be fun, yeah? I mean, you're living out your dreams here. You're a professional footballer coming out, out to this.
For sure.
We're so jealous. I'd say we're so jealous. I'm so jealous, at least.
I think there's a lot of people who's jealous.
I think we are.
Yeah.
I think we are. And so, okay, let's come around to Saturday. Saturday evening, Bayern Munich here. How's training?
It's good.
Yeah.
I think there's a good intensity in training, and I think people are focused on the job.
That's good to know, man.
Yeah.
And then you've got this other run of games going through. What we got? So we got Bochum at home, we got Freiburg at home, Gladbach away, and Köln away. You've been to Köln before.
Yeah.
But you're fully positive going into all this.
Yeah, I think like for now we just have to have focus on Saturday and Bayern, because we know that's of course a incredibly tough match.
Do you think they're going to be annoyed?
I think there's a lot of teams who's going to get annoyed playing here.
Which is our strongest suit.
Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful. I'll tell you what, it's so nice to talk to you. Thank you very, very much.
Yeah.
I think we'll probably wrap it up here. It's the best place to do so. But Mikkel, it's lovely to have you at the club.
Thank you very much.
It's lovely to speak to you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Good luck on Saturday, man.
Thank you, man.
And for the rest of the season.
Thank you very much.
And we'll see you very soon.
We'll see you.